Hey guys, it's me, Stormie, and I wanted to talk to you today about the Virgo and Aries pairing. And this is one of those pairs for me that I really just go, I'm okay. But I think this is another one of those pairings that's a really great experience for the two to have. Because really, they appear to not have anything in common, but that's exactly the thing that can teach them, help them teach each other about each other and help each of them see the world from a different perspective. You know, Aries is he's the warrior, or that's the warrior energy, and they want to go forth and they want to fight and they want to get into battle and let's do this, you know? And Virgo is like, whoa, before we do this, let's map it out, let's get a plan, and then if that plan doesn't work, let's make sure we've got another plan, and then so what do we do if we win, what do we do if we lose? Aries has not considered any of that, you know what I mean? So it can take a lot of time for these two to kind of figure out what's even going on between the two of them, because first of all, Virgo moves so slow. Secondly, they just approach the world so differently. But like I said, I think that this is a great experience, not two pairings that are normally put together, but I know that there are couples out there who are of the Virgo-Aries pairing, and they are just happy as clams right now. The one thing I think that is important, though, is that Virgo really can teach Aries to slow down a little bit, that there is precious time in the entire process from beginning to end, you know, but then at the same time, I think Aries can teach Virgo that it's okay to stop getting in analysis paralysis and thinking everything to death and just take some action, you know. And actually, I think when it comes to the sexual part of this relationship, I don't think that they can make it last forever, but I think that this can be interesting too, because Aries is such a fiery experience. And Aries, if you've ever been with one, you know they're not afraid to handle the body. Like, they are totally okay getting in your space and kind of smacking, flipping, you know what I'm saying? And so for Virgo, who is an earth sign and can handle being handled, this is quite the experience to be stirred up and to have this kind of fieriness. And it can really be, I don't want to say a sensual experience because that's more of another sign, but it can be a more grounding experience for Aries as well, where it's like, oh, I can't just burn fast and be out of here. I have to slow down and actually take my time in all of this. So, you know, not a pairing I would give like 4 or 5 stars to. I'd actually probably give like maybe 1 or 2. But I think that it's great because they really can teach each other so much. All right, guys, like, comment, and subscribe. The little heart is around here somewhere. Click that to subscribe. If you have been in an Aries-Virgo pairing, or you are in a Virgo-Aries pairing right now, go ahead and leave your comments down below. I would love to hear from you. And I'll see you in the next video where we do Virgo and Taurus pairing. Bye, guys. Hey guys, it's me, Stormie, this time talking about the Virgo-Taurus pairing, and I really like this pairing. It's one built on a solid amount of practicality. These are both very practical and efficient kind of signs. They're both earth signs as well, so it's really, they understand each other's similar nature. Now, the one thing that I think is really interesting about these pairings that I've experienced myself and that other people I've seen in their relationships is that when they pair up, they're usually together for a good long while. You know what I mean? Because they are like a steam engine. Once they get in it with each other, they can really push a lot of their relationship forward on their own steam and power alone, because they both have a goal. They're practical. They want security. They want long term. All of those things, so they can really hold each other down and create their own power to move forward. So it's really quite fascinating. Taurus thinks that Virgo's mind is absolutely fabulous, and the fact that they're quick-minded and quick-witted and analytical, they really find that attractive. And Taurus thinks that that is very, very sexy. Now, on the other hand, you know, Virgo thinks that Taurus's dedication and usually their strength of character, integrity, but usually the Taurus body too is very, very strong. This is really, particularly when you see a Virgo man with a Taurus woman, this is really interesting to see. The Virgo man is usually very sexually attracted to the strength of the Taurus woman, so it's a really beautiful thing to watch. Now, when you have their planets come together, you've got Taurus ruled by Venus, who's over love and money, and then you've got Virgo being ruled by Mercury, which is communication. I mean, like, you kind of need those things to make a relationship work, but don't they sound just good, sturdy, practical? We've got communication, love, and money. Now, this is not that couple you're going to see making fireworks when they're in the room together or anything like that, but they are deeply devoted to each other. They both have an integrity and a devotion to each other that's pretty pretty intense between the two of them. Like, they're just not going to have sparks flying. So this is that pairing, though. I definitely would give like a 3 or a 4 because they can definitely make it long haul. The things they have to look out for is that Virgo can be so analytical and nitpicky that it really comes off as being way too critical to Taurus. And Taurus is not generally a sensitive sign, but once Virgo nitpicks enough, Taurus gets a little bit sensitive. And then once the bull's all riled up, then it's, you know, there's hell to be paid. You know what I mean? But because of their similar natures, they're usually able to come back down. So if you've ever been in a Virgo-Taurus relationship or you're in one right now, leave your experience down below for us. We would love to hear from you. Like, comment, and subscribe. I think the little heart is right there. Click that button to subscribe to this channel, and I'll see you in the next video when we talk about Virgo and Gemini. Bye, guys. Hey guys, it's me, Stormie, talking to you about the Virgo and Gemini pairing. When we put these energies together, it is another one of those for me that I'm like, it's just a really good experience. I don't think you should miss it. Now remember, I'm talking sun sign compatibility only. The rest of the chart can make a lot of things possible. And in this relationship and this energy, though, it is just absolutely crucial that the two learn about how the other one processes the world, because it's completely the same but different. You have two very analytical, very intellectual signs, both ruled by Mercury, one bringing a very masculine type energy and the other bringing a very feminine type energy, but Mercury itself is androgynous, so it can really go either way. You know what I mean? And so this is a lot of energy that is the same but will process differently. Gemini is going to process with the twins, see all angles from both sides, but in a very airy, detached kind of way. Virgo is going to look at the situation from all sides in a very analytical space, but as an earth sign, as someone who is going to be grounded and attached to the things that they believe. So that can really cause some problems, honestly, because the air sign can be so detached or just kind of cool about things. And to an earth sign who is very much so committed and stable in what they feel, that aloofness can almost be interpreted as dislike or not loyalty or not devotion, not steady enough, those kinds of things. Whereas Virgo's super steady pace and approach to life can seem very boring or very stubborn, which it is stubborn, to an air sign. So the other thing they really have to look out for is that Gemini cannot be being too flirty, which if you've ever known a Gemini, it doesn't matter who they are, how long they've been married, or whatever the situation is, they have that air of flirtation to them. And so if you're with an earth sign who is just not going to tolerate that very well, that's going to be very, very hard for the Gemini to adjust to. Now, the other thing that they really, I think, have to look out for is that Gemini likes to really be intellectual, but they're not attached to their ideas, so they can say stuff and just kind of, you know, put some stuff out there for Virgo, and when Virgo gives it back, they don't like it, and vice versa, because Virgo can be so critical sometimes and so analytical that they say something to Gemini, and Gemini is also the planet of communication. They're being ruled right there, you know, so they're going to get it back. So they have to kind of watch that banter as well. Now, if they can stick it out, and they do have other placements that really make this work out for them, they can learn so much from each other. The air sign can teach the earth sign not to be so grounded and stubborn, to kind of relax a little bit into some things. And the earth sign can teach the air sign the value of beginning, completing, and persevering, and ending something as well. So if you've ever been in a Virgo-Gemini relationship, leave your comments down below. I would love to hear from you. If you're in one now also, that's great as well. Like, comment, and subscribe. I think the little heart is right here, so click that and subscribe to the channel. And I will see you next time when we do Virgo and Cancer. Bye, guys. Hey guys, it's me, Stormie, talking to you tonight about the Virgo-Cancer relationship, and this one is just really very lovely, I think. Neither one of these signs are built for flings. They're very much so built for the long term, but the deal is when they get together, it can take them a really long time to go on ahead and become a couple. I mean, Virgo moves so incredibly slow because they want to be sure. You know, they want to be sure that this is it. This is the person they're going to invest their life and their time in, but the deal is that Virgo really likes and admires and respects that Cancer has this quiet strength and dedication to family and to home. And Cancer, on the other hand, really thinks that obviously Virgo's mind is quite fascinating and that they're pretty keen and that they're practical. So really when these two come together and decide to be a couple, this is the long haul couple, you know, and whenever I see this pairing together, and when I just see it in my head too, the vision I get is just lots of babies, you know, lots of family, lots of family, I think is the best way to say that, whatever that looks like, whether it be dogs or cats or birds or whatever, they're doing it together, you know what I mean? And Cancer is really holding down the nurturing part of that, because even Virgo can sometimes be a little bit too practical so that they kind of come off cold, even as parents, but it really becomes this really warm, cold, but totally perfect dynamic when it comes to family relationships. Now, the sex between these two can actually just be quite beautiful because there's an actual admiration of each other's bodies that usually happens with these two. So I think it's a very beautiful thing. So then we get to see the moon and Mercury come together, the moon over the emotions, Mercury over communication. So that is something they do have to watch because Virgo can be a little bit too critical. And of course, that's going to send Cancer into their shell and they're going to hang out and all you see is their eyeballs for the next 2 days. You know what I mean? But the nice thing is that they seem to have a nice flow between the two of them, and Virgo can kind of coax Cancer back out. On the other side, you know, Cancer can be too sensitive so that Virgo's like, oh my gosh, why are you being so emotional right now? But they usually seem to sail past these pretty okay. And this is a pairing, like I said, I just really like, I like it in terms of family, I like it in terms of the commitment they have together and just the devotion and fulfillment they can really bring to each other. So if you've ever been in a Virgo Cancer relationship or you're in one right now, go ahead and leave your explanation and your experience with us down below. We would love to hear from you. Like, comment, and subscribe. I think the little heart is right here-ish. And I will see you guys in the next video where I do Virgo and Leo. Bye, guys. Hey guys, it's me, Stormie, talking to you tonight about the Virgo-Leo pairing. And I think that this is one of those pairings for me that is just a really good experience. I think that these two would teach each other quite a bit because really they can look like they have absolutely nothing in common, but it's those things that make them so different that would make them really good teachers to each other. In fact, I think that these two, when it comes really down to it, can be very polar opposite because Leo is really about Leo, you know, all about that self. And then Virgo is very happy to be about other people and to take care of tedious tasks that involve or help or benefit other people. So that's a really interesting pairing. Plus, they are close to each other on the zodiac sign, which that can create a lot of challenge, actually. So in this pairing, one of the things that I think that they can really learn from each other is that Leo can actually spark a little bit of fire under Virgo and teach Virgo to not be an analysis paralysis so much, but to go ahead and have a moment of extravagance, really. Where Virgo can teach Leo that it's like, hey, you know what? There's like other people out here. I don't know if you know that, you know? So they get a chance to, I think, really share that with each other. The other thing about this pairing that makes it very hard for me is that Leo is a fixed sign. So Leo is going to stick to what they do. They are stubborn. They like it their way. They are really not very interested in changing. They like to start things and not really think about it all the way through, so then it doesn't really happen all the way. Whereas Virgo is a mutable sign. You know what I mean? So they can kind of come and go with things, but they prefer to stick with the stay and steady hard work, which is really funny because generally you would think that a fixed sign is just going to stay, do the hard work, and that's it, and that the mutable sign would be the other way. But in this pairing, it really comes out this way. And it can be so much so that it actually becomes, for Virgo, the business of babysitting Leo's pride and ego and extravagance, which for a time is fine because Leo is so extroverted generally, sun sign compatibility only, and Virgo is very much so happy to do all the backstage work. So, you know what I mean? Sometimes it's not a big deal, but when the Leo's super selfness comes out, it may just become annoying to Virgo, and Virgo's like, yeah, no, I'm good. So I think that this pairing has a lot that they can teach each other, a lot to learn, and it's definitely an experience I think is not to be missed if they're going to go ahead and try and pair up. So if they work on it and make a lot of compromises, I think that these two, and depending on what the rest of the chart looks like, I think these two can make it work for a time. All right, if you've ever been in a Virgo-Leo pairing, please leave your experience down below, or if you're in one right now, like, comment, and subscribe to the video, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye! Hey guys, it's me, Stormie, talking to you tonight about the Virgo Virgo combo. This combination for me just says teamwork. And honestly, the fact that they are so picky and practical and analytical and in tune with each other's frequencies makes this one of those really romantic couples for me, because really they tune into each other so much because they're similar, and because they're a mutable sign, they can kind of ebb and flow with what the other one is experiencing. The other thing is that because they are ruled by Mercury, communication is their deal, and it's not just the words that we're saying back and forth, it's the body language, it's the way you pronounce that word, it's the way your eyes moved when you said that lets them check in and hone in on these little nuances of each other to really be in tune. Now, this is not that couple that is like, giving you a fireworks show. They're both earth signs. This is sun sign compatibility only. They're both earth signs, so they're not doing any of that. But you know what? They are so happy with their feet planted on the ground, making analytical decisions and looking things forward and just being really doting on each other in mutual admiration and respect of their intellect and their love for being around each other. And I do think that it's cute when you see these two out. I think also it has to do with their mutable signness, is that they are very adaptable in any situation. And you will see them generally able to work a room. They are ruled by Mercury, and I think sometimes we don't give them enough credit for being the social butterflies that they are because they're earth signs, but truly, these two can work a room together and be absolutely confident that the other one is like, that's their person, So this is a really beautiful pairing. I definitely give this like a 4.5, 5, and I don't do that very often, but I really like these two together. If you've ever been or you are in now a Virgo-Virgo relationship, go ahead and leave your experience down below. I'd love to hear from you. And please like, comment, and subscribe. I think the little heart is right here. So subscribe to the channel where we'll learn so much more about astrology in days to come. I'll see you guys in the next video where I do Virgo and Libra. Bye. Hey guys, it's me, Stormie, talking to you about the Virgo-Libra pairing, and this is like such a natural fit together, these two are. And when you see these two together, they generally just look so grounded, so in love. This can be one combination that I think is just so solid. And you wouldn't necessarily think so, but I think that they pull it off very, very well. Now, the thing about these two is that they, of course, can have problems because, Virgo is critical sometimes and a little bit too nitpicky and a little bit too analytical. And Libra really does have a sensitive nature. But the thing that seems to straighten them out there is that Libra can see all sides, because they're always weighing the scales and indecision. And since Virgo is also so analytical, it's kind of like, yeah, well, I think you're really doing this. And then the other person's like, well, I may be, because maybe I'm compensating for this. So it really can kind of turn into this really interesting over-the-top conversation. Now, the thing is, too, that they both really do like superficial pleasures. Like, they like stuff. Both of them. They like to have nice things. Virgo is going to be absolutely picky. And Libra, in themselves, carry themselves in such a beautiful way that, honestly, when you see this couple together, sometimes you can be like, they're snobs. They're probably snobs, which is not necessarily true. They both do have an appreciation for the arts, painting, music, things like that have a lot of culture to them as well. Now, interestingly enough, even though they're the indecisive sign, Libra is a cardinal sign. So they kind of start and steer the relationship a little bit. You know what I mean? While Virgo, being the mutable sign, just kind of can get on board and go where they need to go. And it's funny to have a Libra, I think, really starting the get going on a relationship, because they're usually too indecisive to move. You know what I mean? So in this case, that is it. But it is ultimately, I think, Virgo who holds them together, kind of like the glue that keeps this relationship and the connection together, because Virgo is built to commit. Even though it takes them a really long time to get into a relationship and to finally commit, but they are built to commit. Libra is not built to commit. They are an air sign, but there is something that happens when these two come together that Virgo just kind of holds it together, and Libra is like, oh yeah, they're sturdy, they're practical, and they like being with me, And even though it's funny to say that too, because Libra, being of the scales and of partnership, is not built to commit. So that's very complicated. But this is a really lovely pairing. I definitely give them a 4.5 stars. If you have ever been in a Virgo Libra relationship or you're in one now, go ahead and leave your experience down below. Like, comment, and subscribe to the video. The little heart is right there. And I will see you in the next video where I do Virgo and Scorpio. Bye, guys. Hey guys, it's me, Stormie, talking to you tonight about the Virgo-Scorpio combination, and this is one that I think is an experience as well, but it can, like these two, because they can run so emotionally deep and intense, they can last a little bit longer, but what I think really happens here that is really sexy is that Virgo can be so in their head for so much, and Scorpio is all about that sex. You know what I mean? They are about the passion. They are about that deep transformation, so Scorpio can really pull Virgo out of their head, out of that analysis paralysis, and teach them about their body. And while I think Virgo is, even though they're ruled by the Virgin, they are seen that way sometimes, Virgo is a more than willing partner. They're an earth sign. They are earthy. They are ready to be handled. They are ready to do some smacking up and flipping. You know what I mean? So it really becomes a very sexy thing where Scorpio can really pull Virgo out of their little shell and let them see what their bodies can really do. And a Virgo who understands what their bodies can really do is absolutely incredible. And so while these two tend to be a more private couple, you know, they don't necessarily always want to be out and about. They will lend a hand. They will go help. They can both definitely be counted on for service. So that is a really nice thing. And then when they finally can pick up on a common goal, they can both really move towards it very, very well, because Virgo really wants to acquire order and security and things like that, and Scorpio wants to acquire power. And that's just kind of the way that it goes. Now, like I said, this is a relationship that can be intense. So when there's arguments or something like that, Virgo is usually practical enough to not let it get too heated. They can kind of move out of the way. Scorpio doesn't care. They're not going to back down, and they're going to, you know, they're stubborn. They're going to try and get their way till the end. So I don't know about this pairing. Somewhere between a 3.5 and a 4 for me. Maybe even a 2.5 to a 4.5, somewhere in there. I don't necessarily think it's good, bad, or indifferent in my book. Now, if you've ever been in an intense Virgo-Scorpio relationship where you're in one now, leave your experience down below. We would love to hear from you. Like, comment, and subscribe to the video. And I'll see you guys next time. Bye. Hey guys, it's me, Stormie. I'm going to talk to you about the Virgo and Sagittarius pairing, which I think is actually a really fun kind of pairing, in the sense that it's like Sagittarius is just the adventurer and needs to be able to go, and discover all of these different things and be out and travel and education and adventure. While they're gathering all of these experiences, when they bring them back, Virgo wants to analyze them. So it's almost like, yeah, they have completely different natures, you know, Virgo being the very practical, grounded earth sign, Sagittarius being the adventuresome fire sign. But when they come together, it's like, oh my gosh, I found all this stuff. Oh my gosh, did you know you found this? You know what I mean? It can be a very exciting kind of pairing, I think. And I think the other thing that makes it so that these two can actually sustain each other, if they can make it work, is that they can both discuss things like books and movies and philosophical ideas at great length. And they're going to come from two completely different perspectives. So it really can be this playful, challenging, exciting, debating kind of banter between the two of them. Now, they're both mutable signs, which is great because they can just kind of spread themselves out, do a whole bunch of different things at once. It's easy for them to become interested in something new and kind of change directions a little bit. So it's a really interesting and exciting, I think, kind of pairing. Now, if you've ever been in a Virgo-Sagittarius relationship, leave your experience down below, or if you're in one now, I would love to hear so much more about it. I actually only know a few Virgo-Sagittarians, and they are just, I don't know, they seem happy as clams. They're always doing stuff. You know, like they're always doing stuff. So if you've ever experienced it, let me know down below. Like, comment, and subscribe to the video, and I'll see you in the next one where I do Virgo and Capricorn. Bye, guys. Hey guys, it's me, Stormie, talking to you about the Virgo and Capricorn combination, and this is a very real, based in reality kind of pairing. They're both earth signs. They both just have a very grounded, steady, earthy way of doing things. Capricorn is intense and dedicated towards whatever the goal is, usually something ambitious. And Virgo can pay attention and have a little bit of attention and be pay attention to the details of things. So that actually makes them a really, really good team. And it makes it so that Capricorn can relax a little. If you've ever seen a Capricorn relax a little, you know it's a really good thing for them. Now, the other thing that I think is really great is that Capricorn can present some different viewpoints to Virgo. And since Virgo likes to analyze information, it's really good because it keeps them stimulated in that information sharing, gathering, and analyzing type of way. Now, the other cool thing I think about the fact that they are both earth signs is that Virgo is a mutable sign and Capricorn is a cardinal sign. So Capricorn can start things, really great starter of things, and then have a little bit of tenacity to go with it. But Virgo is so mutable that they are better at actually carrying it all the way to the end. But then you combine them both because neither of them are fixed. And remember, our fixed signs are the really good holders, but both of these combined together, they can create and finish incredible projects. The only deal is that Capricorn can't be so heady that they don't let Virgo in. Virgo has to have a big piece of the project, and then they can usually do pretty well together. The other thing about these two is they have, once they decide to be together, because Virgo is going to let this go nice and slow, even though they'll usually find a more natural fit more quickly together, they are completely dedicated to each other. The dedication between these two and the similar goals that they have really make them a good match together. They both enjoy material things. They both enjoy security and things like that. So on a scale of 1 to 5, I definitely give this like a 3.5, 4. It is a very real pair. You're not going to see a whole bunch of fireworks or anything like that, but you can watch them absolutely build an empire together. All right, guys, if you've ever been in a Virgo-Capricorn relationship, leave your experience down below, or if you're in one now, like, comment, and subscribe. The little heart should be right there to subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video when I do Virgo and Aquarius. Bye, guys! Hey guys, it's me, Stormie, talking to you about the Virgo-Aquarius pairing. And this is another one of those for me that I say just no thank you in a romantic sense. In a business sense, I would say absolutely this could be really creative and they could create something really impressive together. And that is because Virgo is so analytical and can have so much attention to detail. As well, Virgo can finish a project, while Aquarius would bring the very eclectic, different creative kind of piece to the table so they could create something completely new. But let's focus on romance. Romantically wise, this is one of those signs, one of these pairings, when you see them together, you can tell that there is almost usually very, very little physical attraction or very little chemistry. It's almost like, what are these two doing together? It is really like watching, you know, a snake and a fish date, really, honestly. So I have not ever, not one time ever in all of the couples I know, seen a couple that is more obvious when they're out that they are Virgo and Aquarius. Now, that doesn't mean that these two signs can't have a beautiful experience together, but I think it's an experience. This is not a long-term kind of couple. And remember, sun sign compatibility only, because I know out there somewhere there are a Virgo Aquarius pair who are living happy destiny together. I just know it. But for the most part, Aquarius can be very unreasonable and opinionated and stubborn and very go with the flow. They are an air sign. They like to go from one idea to the next, and usually they're marching to their own drummer, so they don't have a lot of reason why they are doing that. They're looking for the spiritual high, the information, the humanitarian go for it. Where Virgo is very intellectual and very earthy, very grounded, there's reason and precise calculation and analysis behind what it is that they're doing. So sometimes I think that when these two get together, it is almost like there has been some kind of euphoria where everybody just needed to experience something completely different than themselves, and they come together and they really can have some pretty good sex, but it just does not last long because they just in their whole energetic feel do not have sustainability between the two of them. But like I said, it doesn't mean they can't teach each other something. Whenever an air sign and an earth sign come together, they can always teach each other to ground more and to be light a little bit more. On the scale of 1 to 5, I give this like a 1, maybe even a half to a 1. It's an interesting experience. I would definitely give them a 3 or a 4, though, in a business sense. All right, guys, if you've ever been in or you are in a Virgo Aquarius pairing, leave your experience down below. I would love to hear from you. Subscribe. The little heart should be right there. And I'll see you guys in the next video where we pair Virgo and Pisces. Bye, guys. Hey guys, it's me, Stormie, talking to you about the Virgo-Pisces pairing. Now, I have to tell you, in terms of just beautiful, I think that this is a beautiful pairing because it's the combination of structure and flow. Let me explain. So, not only are these signs opposites, so it can generally be a case of opposites attract here. Virgo is the one who is like, we have got to do this and do this and do this so that we can be on time and have our plan, and we need to have structure. Virgos are usually very well put together, beautiful people, but they can be so uptight because they are sticking to the plan. They are doing this, and they can be so intellectual about the plan that they get stuck in their head and they forget the rest of their body is actually very usable and movable. But then they meet this very flowy, easygoing, just go with the flow, be in the creative, be in the moment, hippie kind of Pisces energy. And it's completely opposite, which tells you right there they have tons to offer each other. But the beauty is that Pisces go with the flowness can really help Virgo figure out what their heart is saying, figure out that their legs and their feet are just as much a part of the package as well as that big intuitive brain that they have. What I like about watching a Virgo and a Pisces together is that Virgo really does offer Pisces that kind of structure to say, yes, I think that we should make heart-shaped pancakes, but we have to heat up the pan first. You know what I mean? Like they give them that. And then Pisces offers Virgo just the opposite, where they can help them say, yes, you know what, this did not go according to plan, and what you're feeling is frustrated, and that's okay. So in terms of beauty, I really think that this is one of those opposite signs that just comes out to me energetically really, really beautiful if they can make it last. Now, there is always, when it's opposites, there's always work that has to be done. But these two, I think, can really do the work. They can also choose not to, because sometimes opposites just choose to get away from each other. So, on a scale of 1 to 5, I would definitely give this pairing like a 4 because it's just beautiful with a lot to teach. If you've ever been in a Virgo-Pisces relationship or you are in one now, you can go ahead and leave your experience down below. I will say this too. I know that between Virgo and Pisces, when it's good, it's really good. And when it's bad, it can be really, really bad. But that's the truth about opposites. All right, guys, like, comment, and subscribe. The little heart is right here to subscribe to the channel. And I will see you guys in the next video. Bye!